Have you ever needed a bunch of boards for a project, but they all need to be the same exact length, and the thought of measuring, marking, cutting, measuring, marking, cutting just feels monotonous? It is. And that is where a stop block can come in handy. But if you're new to woodworking, you might be wondering, what is a stop block? Well, it is a very simple tool that ensures consistent repeated cuts. It is typically attached to the fence of a miter saw, so that as you're making your cuts, you can just bump your wood up against it, make that cut, bump it up again, make that cut, and have those repeated cuts really quickly. And it eliminates the need for repeated measuring, thus speeding up the whole process and reducing any of those accidental measurements. So what are they made of, and do you need to buy one? If you do a quick search online, you'll see that stop blocks are made from metal, wood, plastic, and everything in between. Some of them use T-tracks, some of them use knobs, some of them use built-in clamps. Some of them are cheap, and some of them are really expensive. And if you're just starting out in woodworking, this might seem a little intimidating. Now, you can buy a professionally made stop block, but unless you plan on using it every single day, I found it's much nicer just to make one when you need it. So let's start with the basics and build a very simple stop block. And if you like it, then you can always upgrade in the future. Now first, let's find some scrap wood. You know, that stuff you've been kind of hoarding over in a corner for that special moment. This can be plywood, this can be MDF, this can be solid wood, or whatever you have on hand. Here's some scrap I had left over, and let's see if any of these will work. I usually prefer a piece that is 2 to 3 inches wide and somewhere around 3/4 of an inch thick. And the reason why is you want something that is nice and firm, so as it bumps into it, it won't hit it and break it easily. So looking at these scraps here, this one may be a little on the thin side, but the rest of these should work. You may have to cut down some of these larger ones to get them to fit on your saw, but overall, use what you got. Now that we've selected our piece, we need to ensure that all 4 corners are cut at 90 degrees. So go over to your miter saw and make those cuts, making sure everything is squared off. Otherwise, that could mess up all of our measurements in the future. Next, we need to add a kerf in our block for sawdust. But what is a kerf? The kerf is just a relief cut in one of the 4 corners of our stop block. Since the cut is down here, that'll now make this the base of our wood. And as we continue to make cuts and pushing that sawdust up against this block, it'll all start to gather down in this relief cut, and it'll allow us to have an accurate cut. If we didn't have that kerf right there, that sawdust would start to gather in the way, and thus pushing our wood further and further away as we make more and more cuts, thus giving us a bad measurement. Now in the past, I've tried making a stop block really quick, going, I'm just going to skip that kerf part, make these cuts. In the process of doing that, I started to have dust collect right in that corner. So I'm over there trying to blow it out and scrape it out and blow it and scrape it, thus wasting time that I could have just cut that kerf in and wouldn't have had to do all that extra work. Now that we have our block, we need to figure out the best way to clamp it to your miter saw. Now on the back of most of your fences here, it can vary quite a bit on where things are protruding. So if you notice, my block is a little bit longer one way than the other. And I did that, which will give me a little more access and a little more height adjustment. I can flip it around to adjust it wherever I need it on my miter saw so I can clamp it the best place possible. So keep that in mind whenever you're building your block. Now we need to figure out the best clamp to use for our stop block. If your miter saw by chance has a built-in clamp, try to utilize it. If not, I usually prefer these screw type clamps because it allows you to really get it tight and hold that stop block in place. No matter which clamp you use, make sure that it is out of the way whenever the saw is cutting and it doesn't get in the way of the wood you're trying to cut. And I hate to say this, but on a few occasions, I've accidentally put the clamp in the wrong position and the saw hit it, thus making me have to do readjustment and remeasurement and potentially, in some occasions, having to recut a new piece of wood. So try and help prevent that mistake. Over the years, I've found that most of my repeated cuts tend to be a little on the shorter side. But what if you need a bunch of cuts that are longer than your miter saw? First off, if we're making really long cuts, let's say on a construction site where you're framing a house, this setup might be a little bit different because that is outside my range of knowledge. But if you're building a smaller project, let's say furniture or maybe a doghouse, where you need a bunch of repeated medium length size pieces, this process should work great for you. First, we need to attach a temporary fence to the front of our factory fence. A temporary fence can be made out of plywood, MDF, even a 1x4. Just make sure that it is straight. If it's twisted or warped at all, get another piece. Also, when you're installing your temporary fence, make sure it doesn't stick up too tall, otherwise it can interfere with the saw. In my case here, I wouldn't put it any taller than the factory fence here, so we're limited to about 2.5 inches. Attaching your temporary fence to your miter saw is pretty simple, and I can think of 3 easy ways to do it. You can use a variety of clamps, but keep in mind you'll probably need at least 4 of these to get it to work. You could always use some thin double-sided tape, or you can use the factory holes in your factory fence. Now, in most miter saws, they have some holes on each side so that you can add a temporary fence to it, add some screws through the back and hold it in place. Just make sure that your screws don't protrude through the front. And no matter which method you use, make sure that your fence is securely held in place and doesn't move around. It's also very important to make sure that your fence is on both sides of the blade, because if you only had it on one side and you tried to make that cut, this side is not supported at all. So at some point when the blade is almost all the way through, it's going to shoot that board against that fence back here, possibly bouncing it off and hitting you. So please be careful and make sure that your fence is on both sides of that blade. In fact, I like to move that temporary fence all the way to the edge of our miter saw, and that'll allow you to have a lot more control in all your cuts. Once you have the temporary fence in place, we need to make its first cut, see exactly where the blade's going to go. And to find out exactly how far to put out our stop block, let's say we needed 18 inches. We take the end of our measuring tape, we put it right in that groove, go out to 18 inches, make a little mark, and then put the stop block right there. Now we can take our wood and gently bump it against the stop block there, and we know that every cut will be right at 18 inches. Stop blocks are primarily used on miter saws, but on occasion you will see other people use it on a table saw, maybe a band saw, or some other tools as well. The only difference is that on a miter saw, you're cutting the wood as it's being pressed against a fence, so you have some control against it. Where these other tools, you're usually pushing the wood into the blade and it doesn't have that support. So be very cautious on using a stop block on these other tools unless there's other precautions taken as well. Otherwise, it could easily bind on you, kick back, and hurt you very badly. Now I hope this simple lesson will allow you to make repeated cuts over and over again really quickly and really easily. If you have any other thoughts or suggestions, I'd love to hear about it. Please put those in the comments, plus you'll help out a ton of other people. Otherwise, get out in your shop and have fun building.